All right, guys, we're live.
Hey.
What up?
Say what's up to everybody. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
What
I'm
up?
excited. Hey, excited for this episode.
This
Hey,
is
You know
P.
what?
Diddy speaking.
This is Pete Diddy.
Take
As
that,
you
take that.
We'll be talking about this man on the screen right here. We will have a lot of questions answered, a lot of questions that we decided to come up with, and try to do a where are they now? What are they doing? What did Puff do to them or for them? And we're going to go over all of that today on the Multiverse. So bear with us a moment and we can get it started.
It's yours. Whose world is this? It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Whose world is this?
Okay, now those are the faces I really wanted to see, man. Welcome to the Multiverse. And yeah, we'll talk about your crush. We'll talk about it momentarily. But welcome everybody to another week of the Multiverse. I am Bad Ty Bricks. I'm here with Tyrone Thornhill and the beautiful Holly Noon. And we this week are going to have a great discussion about Bad Boy Records. Their artist, where are they now? What did Puff do to most of them? And what do we foresee in the future for Bad Boy Records? But before we get into that, I want to first ask my co-host how their weekend was. Holly, let's start with you. How was your weekend?
Okay. My weekend was good. It was chill. I took a little small trip to Orlando, so that was nice, trying to be out in the pandemic and move safely. So yeah, that was nice. My little day trip.
Okay. How about you, Tyrone?
It was good. It was more relaxing than normal, so I enjoyed that. I got to just kind of chill out a little bit and enjoy myself, play some video games. You know how I like to do that. Yeah, it was nice.
Well, I'm glad you guys had a good weekend, because I'm over here, I think, sick, possibly with COVID. Hopefully not, but you never know. I mean, a small cold could be COVID, and this is COVID. You know what I mean? So hopefully I don't have it, but I will be going to get vaccinated tomorrow. For all of my followers and all of our audience members who have been telling me, go get that shot. Well, guess what? I'm going to go get the shot. And yeah, hopefully that works out. And we'll see how I feel after that, man. But it is good to be back another week and to be here with you guys and touch on these subjects, man. Holly, you brought this up, this music discussion. We all love music.
Yes.
But there was a discussion we had about Bad Boy and kind of the, some of the dealings that Puff has had with some of his artists over the years. P. Diddy. Self-made, would you say? Self-made millionaire?
Yeah, I would say for the most part. For the most part, everybody has help here and there. So,
True.
yeah.
Yeah, Biggie helped a lot.
Right?
a
lot of his artists did, but
a whole lot.
The roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely
step on people and get up there. And
whoever. And it doesn't matter who. You be friend, whoever. I think what we're going to start with this discussion is always I think we should start at the beginning.
Okay.
And if we're starting at the beginning, we can't start at the beginning of Bad Boy Records without discussing this man. Mr. Craig Mack. Flavor in your ear. That was Craig Mack for all those youngins out there who might not know who this gentleman is. But Craig Mack was the first official artist at Bad Boy Records. He wasn't the first artist to actually drop. That was big, but he was the first artist that Puff signed, and he was supposed to be the first artist that dropped. Unfortunately, he had to contend with the Notorious Big, and well, we know how that ended. But there's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about when it comes to Craig Mack. Craig Mack is a Bronx rapper. He was born in the Bronx, raised in Long Island. He first signed with Bad Boy in 1994 and had the hit that I was just singing, Flavor in Your Ear. Tyrone, I know you're a big music head, and I know Flavor in the Ear dropped. You were probably, in your cross colors, with your boom box, jamming to some Craig Mack. Do you remember when Flavor in Your Ear dropped?
Honestly, that I was probably a little bit like, I heard it and was like, I like this, but I was a little bit too young for it to be like impactful. Like I was still getting more impacted by like Power Rangers at that time. So like when Craig Mack really hit the scene and had Flavor in Your, like I was like, I like this song, but I wasn't over there like learning the lyrics and stuff. You know what I mean? So he was just before I started really diving in. But later on, I really gained an appreciation for him because obviously lyrically he was great, and then but he just had like one of those iconic voices. And one of those voices that just it when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's Craig Mack.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, he definitely has a unique voice and a unique lyricist style. And wasn't this like the first #1 hit for Bad Boy?
It was.
Yeah, Flavor in Your Ear. Yeah,
Flavor in Your Ear was a number one hit. It did go platinum. So as a start, that was definitely a really big start. But like again, that his Flavor in the Ear track, it didn't blow until they did the remix.
Remix,
The remix is when it really blew. When they added Busta and they put Big, because this was our first introduction to the Notorious Big. We didn't know who he was. All we knew was here's this guy coming on here, like he's, like I got a different sound, and
why he sounds so far away.
Yeah, it was like really a game changer for not only Bad Boy but for the East Coast, because leading up to this, at this time in the 90s, the West Coast was really driving rap. Like they had a stranglehold on it. The East Coast was like, just skipping along, but really all of the big hits and all of the big stars for rap were coming out of the West Coast. So when this Flavor in Your Ear hit, it made the East Coast relevant again. It was this surge of younger now suburban kids getting involved into the rap, because I think at that time West Coast rap was more gangster rap. So you had more gangster, F the Police by NWA and all of that, what I'm saying, that kind of stuff. So it wasn't necessarily something that you would hear little kids playing, because parental advisory just had taken effect, really, because I think this was I want to say this was around the time that Luke had started dropping and was doing all of that that he was doing. So I think there was some senators and everything that came out and was like, oh, we need to stop rap. It's going to turn our kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this Flavor in Your Ear was a different. It was a different message. You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, enjoy yourself. Like, yeah, this is a brand new flavor. You know what I mean? and so everybody kind of gravitated to it. But Craig Mack himself, even though he did have this popular song, did still have to contend with the likes of a Notorious Big. So when his album dropped, which it actually dropped, I want to say 7 days after Notorious Big's album, not his album, but his single.
Yeah.
Why did Puff do that to him?
because we're gonna, as we go along, we're gonna find out that Puff does a lot of things to people, and we probably will never find out why he does the things that he does. But I will tell you this: Puffy did milk that cow for as much as he could with Craig. I remember there was a Yo MTV Raps interview that had Biggie and Craig in the Yo MTV Raps basement, and basically in the interview, Puff said, "Yeah, we're working on Craig's next album. It'll be coming out next year." And if you ever saw that actual interview, Craig looks like he don't know what the hell's going on.
He made like that, huh?
Yeah,
like the huh?
He had that look like, I didn't know he was working on no album, and let alone that it was coming out next year. And lo and behold, it didn't come out. I mean, Puff did say it was going to come out that following January. There was no album that came out that following January. But he did, in fact, release another album. But that album was released 3 years later in 1997. Now, he did also appear on some songs. I don't know if you remember "I Need a Girl."
Yeah,
I need a girl. So he did appear on that track, and I think after that he was supposed to come out with another album in 2007, but that never happened. They were saying that it was going to happen. It was like he was going to make an album, and then all of a sudden we didn't hear from Craig Mack at all. Like we didn't even know what happened to him. Well, he reemerged in 2012, and by this time he had moved from New York. He was no longer rapping. He had moved to Walterboro, South Carolina, where he joined a what people called a cult. It was a compound, some ministries. Excuse me. But he basically joined this organization and turned his life over to God. At that point, he did do like some more music, but it was more rap and everything like that. And then he unfortunately met his demise and died. I think that was like 2000 and see what I got.
2018.
2018. Yeah, he died in 2018. So we really never actually heard from him ever again after The Flavor in Your Ear and I Need a Girl and all of the, I guess, the promises that were made and never kept. But he did speak to the fact that he felt like rap was evil and that he had been living an evil life and that rap had led him astray and everything, which is something we've heard a couple of times, a few times by people in the industry and everything like that. But after hearing everything that I've told you about that situation, because again, Puff never kind of like really tapped into this. Like when they've asked him about Craig, he's never really like kind of, spoke to whatever differences they may have had, or whatever caused him to initially say that he was gonna do another album and never did. And then he met his demise, and it was again an unfortunate situation because Craig Mack was very talented.
He was.
It just so happened that he was on a lineup, and he wasn't the first pick on the lineup, and that happens sometimes in the music industry when you have hot artists all on the same label, and you're trying to push all of their music out at the same time. And, that was kind of his. It was unfortunate because Big was so super talented that it just kind of overwhelmed whatever it was that Craig was doing at the time, and it does look like Puff just kind of spent more time with Big and just invested that time with Big because he saw an opportunity to make more money with Big. So, but that's like this is the first rapper to ever sign with Bad Boy. So I felt like it was appropriate to start with him, and rest in peace, Craig Mack, because You know, you had a lot of talent, and we wish you would have had the opportunities to really focus and showcase that talent. But it is unfortunate. But it leads us into that rapper that we keep talking about, which is the rapper that took it all from him.
Yeah. Yes.
And as you can see here, I mean, this guy, we can look at this guy and he doesn't need any introductions. He doesn't,
Right.
you see that face. And I mean, Tyrone, when you see this guy on the screen, like as soon as you see him, what do you think? What is the first thing that comes to your head?
I mean, his greatness. And the second thing though is that shirt looks really comfortable, but also like just that looks like a nice shirt for real. Like I want to wear it and just like that's a nice one. But no, but there's
velvet.
Hell yeah. But there is there are very few people who belong in a conversation with that dude right there. Very few.
Yeah. How about you, Holly? What does Big mean to you?
I mean, that's actually the first video I watched was Hypnotized on MTV. Like when you see like your first rap video and being like, dang, this is a bomb video. Like the boat chase and them in the car chase and just like the girl dancers. Man, like, no, I think he was just very much, an icon. And like, you know, when you think about crossing over from just like, you know, when you think of artists who are just maybe solely on BET, but then they transcend to like MTV and then other platforms that have, you know, a diverse audience. I mean, that's definitely what I think about. Like everybody recognizes Biggie.
I like that. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I like that his style kind of came from, you know, the earliest days of hip hop. Like, because you could in his style, you could hear influences of like Slick Rick, and you could hear influences of like Grandmaster Flash, like guys like that. Who were kind of like telling stories, you know what I mean? And like giving you experiences instead of just like making statements that rhyme. You know what I mean? Like Biggie was telling stories and he was like flowing through just life and just giving you like these really great images, you know what I mean? That you can make. So that was his thing. It was just, he was able to create these scenarios and these images that were so vivid and he was so good. Lyrically, it was just amazing.
That you felt like you were like experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. Yeah, that was the one thing that really separated Biggie from a lot of the other rappers at the time. You're right. Was that storytelling ability that he took from, you know, guys like Slick Rick, guys like, you know, Rakim, guys like, you know, like all of the originators that kind of, you know, spoke, you know, gave us those stories and put us in those mindsets. When I think of Notorious, when I see Notorious, and every time I see him, I think of the greatest. Like I like, for me, he is the epitome of what rap is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a story of the life that you lived, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. But let me take a walk in your shoes and see, you know, what made you who you are. And I think Notorious did the best job out of anybody. You know, Jay-Z kind of piggybacked off of what Big did as well with the storytelling and everything like that. And he also, Big established again this level of creativity that was lacking at that time, because everybody was talking about the same thing at the time. You know what I mean? Like the West Coast rappers were talking about banging and you know, shooting, and you know, like and the East Coast rappers were at that time like it was more like dance, like let's like on the East Coast it was more dance stuff. Like, hey, let's have a good time. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't
living the good life.
Yeah. Or you had underground rappers that were really doing what battle rappers are doing now, which is really tapping into that lyricism. But it was just that underground rap wasn't as marketable then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was so close knit. Like it was a community that, you know, like you weren't just accepted. You don't just come and just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna no. We need to check credentials, everything like that, to join some of these underground events and come to see some of these underground rappers, and you know, Big was the one that kind of emerged from that battle rap circuit, because he was battling kids and everything like that before he actually you know, started making these really good songs that we remember. But Biggie, his real name is Christopher Wallace. In 1994, he came out with that single "Ready to Die" from the album. Well, he came out with the album "Ready to Die" in 1994, and I think the single was "Juicy." Juicy dropped. And that was the single that I was referring to that came out prior to Craig Mack, 7 days before his album dropped, which is, that's just like, oh my God, like, you know, I imagine
poor planning.
You know, I've been here first, you know, like I waited, I paid my dues, and then you just come and roll this guy out before me, and then he's super hot, and now I have to come back in that. Yeah, I can imagine.
Not only that, but this is like one of the times that Puff kind of showed how you know, how savvy he was, because he like switched up the style at that point. Like nobody was rapping over R&B beats like that. You know what I mean? Like nobody was like, that was just a straight up R&B beat. Not a lot was changed. You know what I mean? And he just like rap over this, and you know, that was that's not something that was happening a lot. And then, you know, he drops that like right before Craig Mack's album. He's like, oh, by the way, the whole genre is about to change, but good luck. Like, that's messed up.
Yeah, he did do that. Now, Holly, what is one of the most, like, what is one of the things that you remember the most about Big? Like, I mean, like, what, because there was a lot of things that he did that was like, I mean, I think Big was like one of the trendsetters when it came to designer clothes.
Yeah,
like,
Coogee. Listen, Coogee. No, it's
rings and rocks, real with rocks.
The Coogee sweaters. Listen, it's really funny because I used to work at an urban wear store and sell Coogee, and I'm like, it just like changed from like what it used to be, and so it was just interesting. Like, you know, he put it on the map, and I kind of feel like I don't know, it's not the same. I'll be honest, I don't feel like it has the same.
Nah, it doesn't.
Yeah, like it's like,
like I've seen some ugly Coogee stuff. I'm not gonna say
yeah, right.
really ugly, and I'm just like rocking that just because it's Coogee, but that's ugly. But I mean, even further, I think he even went further than just Coogee, because at the time nobody was really talking about Versace and nobody was really talking about Gucci, but he made it relevant. Like he made it and he made it more accessible for the urban community, you know what I'm saying, to like actually look into that. Because prior to that, I don't think, you know, us as a community, as our culture, we weren't thinking about Louis Vuitton or
like designer clothing, not at all.
Run DMC talked about their Adidas once, but like that was about it.
Adidas, right?
The craze that created when they talked about those Adidas, like everybody went out and got them an Adidas jumpsuit,
those shell tops,
got you some shell top Adidas, got you your little Kango, you know what I mean? Like that was the mode, like that was the mood that they kind of represented, and that was the same thing with Big. Big made Versace huge, like Versace like blew up like tenfold just by Big alone. I mean, I remember the first time I saw him in an interview, Versace from head to toe. Like I was like
the button ups.
I was like, what? Like he's got this lion, and it's like, what is the lion? Like I don't even know. But Big let us know like that, and since then, now we have all these rappers that are talking about designer this, designer that. Well, guess what? Big is the trendsetter. Big is the one who started that. I don't think there's anybody else out there that can say for, you know, with any you know, certainty that he was not, or that they know somebody that was, that kind of started this whole, you know, genre of music and designer clothes, and designers being kind of, you know, melded together in essence. I think Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan, which, you know, some of the rappers talked about, you know, back in the day, being the kind of pioneer of bringing designer to the urban community and making it fly for us to be able to kind of dress like that and take those prints and add it to the already urban wear that we were in the urban fashion that we were already rocking. So Big was very intricate in that and starting that. But let me see some of his things. 1995, Christopher Wallace, Rapper of the Year. So this is a year in the game, and he's already Rapper of the Year. 96, what he did was he established Junior Mafia. So not only has he now established himself, but he's bringing up his people too, which is always a good thing. He then did Life After Death, which did something that no other artist had done prior to. Big received a diamond rating for his album sales, which is very, very hard to do. There's not a lot of rappers that have done this and have been able to achieve this. If I'm correct, I believe the only rappers that have ever achieved diamond is Jay-Z and Big. I don't even think Lil Wayne did diamond, but I may be wrong. Do you know if Lil Wayne achieved diamond?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I know for a fact that Jay-Z did. Jay-Z and Big definitely achieved diamond status.
Lauryn Hill, but she's, if we're talking male rapper,
how did I forget my baby?
Yeah, Lauryn Hill.
Miss Lauren. We apologize.
One of the best albums I've ever heard. The Miseducation Hill is possibly could go down as the best album, like song for song, every song on that album, every last song.
You want to talk about talent? That is one of the most talented human beings to ever walk this earth. I got a chance to see her live. I know we're not talking about Lauryn Hill tonight, but I just got to appreciate it. I got a chance to see her live. She came to Jacksonville with Nas. Actually, that was an amazing concert. But she was amazing. She was just amazing.
Oh man, I'm jealous of that. I never actually got to see her live, and she's from Jersey, which is surprising that I never got to see her live. But I never got to see her live. But man, you're right. I used to have mixtapes coming up because that was literally what you did in the city. It was collect mixtapes. Everybody, if you wanted East Coast music, you had to get you some mixtapes to hear those underground rappers. But I remember having a mixtape in particular where her and Wyclef were doing a show. Praz was there, but he's not worth mentioning. I mean, as far as rap goes, now, Praz is a superb producer and one of the most talented engineers and producers that we've ever seen. But rapping, but I did have this mixtape where her and Wyclef had a battle on stage. And yes, they had a battle, and Wyclef rapped in 6 different languages. This is what I'm talking about. This dude rapped in French. He rapped in he rapped in Japanese. The dude is. Isn't
that kind of cheating though? Because we don't know what the hell he was saying. He could have been saying a bunch of garbage, and we would not have known the difference.
Probably right.
That is cheating.
Cool.
It's cool that
attempted it.
Cool to be multilingual. That's awesome. But also, I'm on to you, Wyclef. Give me. I don't know about you.
We also have ABC rappers nowadays. So I mean, what is the standard?
I don't even know if we have ABC rappers. I feel like the rappers these days are not even saying words. So
just clicks and sounds. That's all it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So I listen. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yes, a whole nother.
But so he did achieve diamond certification. We now know that Lauryn Hill.
A few others, by the way. There's a few others. I found the list on XXL Mag real quick.
Who else? Because I'd love to hear this.
So Tupac.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course, I don't
know. We can. Then we have The Weeknd, the Hills album. The Weeknd, of course.
Congrats.
Yeah, The Hills. Yeah, certified 10 million. So, of course, Life After Death. You mentioned that. Outkast, Speaker Box, The Love Below.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That was a good album. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Nelly, Country Grammar.
Now that's
Boo.
surprising. That's surprising.
I used to rock Nelly, but like in hindsight, boo.
Yeah. MC Hammer, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him.
That makes sense too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ludacris. Oh, they're counting him on being on Justin Bieber's Baby song. So
Boo.
Oh, well, it's more than I thought. But I mean, but for a long
Eminem
time,
too.
for a long time,
Yeah.
there was only one, two.
Yeah, these are definitely later, like Drake, all of these that we're mentioning. Yeah, it was I'm outside of Tupac and Lauren, because even Lauryn Hill didn't go diamond until February. I think when I looked at the article, was this year, so it's recent. It's not like, yeah.
So that's amazing. That's amazing that Biggie was able to come, and this is literally, he's doing this, like 4 years after being in the game, like. He was fairly new still, like, you know what I mean, as an artist, and to come into the game and be able to just take over and maximize the numbers like he was. I mean, they say that when Big actually dropped Ready to Die, the East Coast was just in disarray. Like there was nobody like really we had to hang our cape on and say, oh, this is our the West Coast owned it. There was no argument. There was nobody to say, nope. Everybody agreed it was the West Coast. But when Big came, he changed the landscape from like not just for then, but moving forward. From the time that Big dropped, the East Coast has never been. I would say they've not been stronger since. You know what I mean? Like since Big dropped, they've rode that momentum that Big had from that point on. We got Jay-Z, but like that was it for a very long time. Nas, we all agree is one of the top 5 best rappers alive, but album sales wise, he doesn't rank at all with Big or Jay-Z. But Jay-Z has kind of carried that torch ever since Big died, and has kind of kept the East Coast relevant for the most part. And the West Coast has kind of fell off, and the South has kind of picked up. I would almost say that the South is probably in second or maybe even first as far as rap goes as of now. I don't really know that the West Coast is really pumping out music like that. But I do know that the South, with guys like Little Baby and Da Baby and,
all of them,
and Baby, I don't know.
But just Lil or Baby, like it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, everybody's Lil or Duh or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole other discussion. But in 2020, Big's achievements were honored, and he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is again humongous for the culture, for rap, for music. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are things that had never been done before, especially with a rapper coming into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
there might have been a few that made it, before, like some like early day guys, like I think Run DMC's in there, and I think there's some others that are. I think LL Cool J's in there.
But
I'm surprised it took Big that long to get in there. Frankly,
you're right about LL Cool J, and and you're also right about Run DMC. But I think LL Cool J just recently got put into the
he was pretty recent too. Yeah.
So I think maybe if anything, and I'm not sure about this, but Run DMC more if they did get put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's more likely that they got put in before Big. But if not, again, the achievement in itself to be, because as much as I love Run DMC weren't what I would call street rappers. They were rappers, but they weren't street. Like, like Big was rapping about street shit and selling all of this stuff. Like, so, like, Run DMC was, doing collabs and, kind of doing funny, like, because that was at that time that the rap was more like a funny comedic.
Yeah, it was, and it's funny they say that because
Yeah.
Run DMC were considered more like the streets embraced Run DMC more than they had embraced a lot of rap before that, mainstream anyway. That got mainstream success. And you know, I mean, like that's because if you notice when like how the b-boy style changed and like everybody like the street style was Run DMC. Like for a while it was just Run DMC. So like there was that embracing, but you're right because it came out of a time where rap was like more it was still kind of separating itself from disco really and starting to kind of like build an identity into that more kind of Grandmaster Flash like was a stepping stone in that. And then you had guys like Run DMC coming through. So yeah, so it was like they were street for the time, and then Biggie came through with like
street shit.
Like some stuff where you're like, you sure you want to say that on here? This is everybody's gonna hear this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to your point, Run DMC was part of the b-boy craze. So that was more breaking, that was more break dancing. Again, you were right. If they were trying to get away from the disco and into the b-boy phase of everybody break dancing. And so when I refer to street, they were definitely not street. They were definitely more in that lane of the b-boy craze, because that was a actual craze. There was a b-boy craze where everybody wanted to break, everybody wanted to like dance, and like your rap, even your rap style was different. Like your rap style was more like this and this, that was your rap style. When Big came through, it was storytelling. It was talking about selling crack. You're out here talking about, murder and all of these different things, but you're talking about it in a way that allows the viewer to put themselves in your shoes and actually walk around for a little bit feeling like they're street, or feeling like, so for that young suburban kid who's never seen any crack or never been around, guns and drugs and all of this kind of stuff, you hear Big talking about it, you rehearse his lyrics, and now all of a sudden you bopping, you got your hoodie on, your jeans are falling off a little bit. Here we are. And here we are. Like years later, here we are, based on those things happening and occurring. So Big for Bad Boy wasn't just the greatest rapper, but he was also the change of guard, the change of the guard. Because when he stepped in, it was like, okay, what you guys have been doing is nice, but I'll take it from here. And he did. And that's one of the few people that if you ask anybody, when it came to relationships with Puff, they described their relationship as being super close. Puff described his relationship with Big as being super close, and being more than just a business arrangement, being more like a friendship. And we don't know, because unfortunately Big also met his untimely demise, and we don't know if there was ever going to be any type of fallout between Puff and Big. If there were any underlying issues with them, we don't know, and we won't ever know, because no one's actually come out and spoke about it. So in this case, I guess it's safe to say that Puff didn't do Big dirty, I guess, in this case. What do you think?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think not while he was alive. I think that you can ask the question: has he profited a little bit too much off of Big's death? Maybe. I think there might be a fair question to ask, because he stretched that for a while, like movies. You know what I mean? Like albums, posthumous albums, song features, you know what I mean? Like using verses from one song on another song, like that kind of thing. So it's like there's a question to ask for, like, is it cool? Would it have been okay with Big? Would he have been like, yeah, I'll be on that song. Yeah, you can use that verse on that. You know what I mean? I think that's that's the only time where it gets, but it sounds like you said, unfortunately, because Biggie died so young, well, it's unfortunate that he died so young, but fortunately for him and for Puff, they got to maintain that friendship, and it never got tested by that, that enough money. I guess there wasn't enough money at the time to test that friendship.
Yeah, he didn't get caught by the bad boy curse.
Right. Yeah.
He unfortunately and fortunately got out of here before that was able to be enacted on him. Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Big. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you'll definitely go down forever with me as being the greatest. But his death opened the door for Bad Boy to fill a slot, because Big at that time was their bread and butter. He was the driving force of Bad Boy at that time. And Puff was really searching. Puff was like scrambling. And during the time he was scrambling, this guy presented himself. Mr. Mason Betha, Murder Mace. Mason Betha. He signed with them, I believe, in 96. So this is 2 years after Big signed. And I think he was there from 96 to 99. Now, when Big died, Puff immediately moved Mace into the lead and featured artist role. And in the midst of him being put into that position, Mace had 6 top 10 Billboard 100 singles and 5 US rap #1 singles. So, for the most part, he filled in well. He had an album in 97, Harlem World was the title of the album. That was the #1 album in the country at the time when he dropped it. And it went quadruple platinum. So it didn't go diamond, but it goddamn close.
It went platinum. That's good.
Yeah. Quadruple platinum. So
quadruple platinum, hey.
4 times platinum. So
yeah.
he definitely, for somebody coming in, behind somebody like Big and the level of success that Big had seen and Bad Boy had seen under Big or with Big, Mace coming in was like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, we're not gonna fall completely off the, because everybody was in disarray, everybody was sad, nobody knew what they were gonna do. And then here comes Mace, dropping Horse and Carriage and all of this other kind of stuff. And, well, not Horse and Carriage, that's Cameron. But dropping what did he drop?
Looking at me.
Looking at me.
He was on More Money, More Problems. I think that was where we first really got his, there were a lot of little jams that he popped out there.
Well, that when they signed Mace for $250,000. That was his deal. He signed a deal for $250,000, which don't get me wrong, back then was a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Like, maybe not the millions, but it's a lot of money for then. Especially for a new artist who prior to that was just doing mixtapes and playing basketball. So, for him to step into a situation like this and, be as successful as he was so soon had to be refreshing for Puff. But, after he dropped Harlem World and, it went quadruple platinum and they saw the success, he then dropped another album called Double Up, which went double platinum. So, not as successful as Harlem World, but still very much successful. Platinum is a measure of success. Double platinum is, seems like you have some pretty good job security. What I did notice is that after he dropped the Double Up album, he left for a while and decided that rap wasn't something that he wanted to do. Instead, he wanted to serve the Lord. He wanted to be a pastor. So after the Double Up album, he decided to leave and go and pursue being a pastor of a church in Atlanta. He also decided to enroll himself in school. So at the time, he was enrolled in Clark, Atlanta, and basically for the next 4 or 5 years, we saw no more Mace until we did, and then he came back and did an album called Welcome Back. Now, Welcome Back it wasn't as successful as either the Harlem World or the Double Up album, simply because it was a totally different type of album. He wasn't singing, he was still rapping, but this was more of a positive message, and he was kind of trying to I guess make up for what he felt like was a lot of mistakes when he did the Harlem World album and the Double Up album. He did the Welcome Back album and went gold. He did a couple of collabs. He did the Only You collab with 112. He did Can't Nobody Hold Me Down with P. Diddy. Been Around the World. And then the Mo Money, Mo Problems, which actually went #1 on the Billboard. So,
and don't forget about the Rugrats theme song called "Take Me There."
That's
with
right.
112. And
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but May singing Chucky is scared and Tommy is sad, Phil and Lil missing their mommy and dad is one of the funniest moments in rap to me. I can't get over it.
Oh my gosh. Mr. Pastor Mace. Pastor Mace.
But listen, so someone said, when I watched all these documentaries about Bad Boy, like where they gone wrong, they literally said a lot of Bad Boy artists either end up dead or turning to religion, or they just disappear.
Yeah. I mean, we've already established 3 of them. And out of the three that we've already just been talking about, 2 of them are dead, and one of them became a pastor.
Craig went to join a religious cult too, so it's not like he turned to religion, and it's all this theme. Like through the interviews, when you hear him talk about what happened with Bad Boy, like Lisa's kind of saying here, like they're dealing with Diddy, they need Jesus, but that seems to be a recurring theme. Whatever's going down with Diddy at Bad Boy is causing we're locked up. Very true. Shine, for example, but
Craig, listen. After doing my research, G-Dep, Shine, Craig, they all did, had dealings with the law. Black Rob went to jail. Loon went to prison. And me and Tyrone were talking about that before we.
I like how Holly had the same exact reaction that I had. She just started busting out laughing. That's the same shit I did. I could not. I heard Lou went to prison. I was like, what?
Yeah, Loon. I know. First of all, when Loon was out
over there,
Loon was rapping about love. Loon was, he was rapping for the ladies. Like nobody.
Yeah, Loon was like Diet Mace. He was out there trying to he was supposed to be Mace's replacement when Mace bounced, and then he just kind of ended up like, all right. By the way, a little trick: if you ever singing along to some Mace or some Loon, and you want to sound just like those guys, you can move your lips, but don't unclench your teeth. That's the way you sound like those guys. Yeah,
that is true.
Good to know.
Like, why you over there looking at me like that kind of thing? Yeah.
Think about it. Even like Faith Evans. Faith Evans had issues. Little Kim, oh my gosh, what happened to her? Jesus,
there's so many. There's so little C's. There's so many. Like it almost speaks to the type of individuals that Puff looks to recruit. He looks to recruit, anybody that is associated with the streets or criminal activities, or somebody who's dealing with some type of underlying issues. And so he's made a fortune off those type of people, and that's kind of why we decided to have this discussion in the first place. Mace was fortunate enough to have the sense and the wherewithal to know that things were getting out of hand, and kind of take himself away from that situation. So when he went to Atlanta and decided to go with the faith and go with it, test his faith and everything like that. It might have been beneficial for him and kept him out of trouble. But the fact that he came back just shows that maybe he had a love for it, a love for the music and everything like that. But when he came back in '97, and he formed All Out Records, which was actually, they were like a subsidiary of So Def. So like he kind of like, I guess, partnered with them and was still doing music with Bad Boy, but was able to do his label through So Def, which tells you a lot. Because if you're already signed to a label and then you go outside of your label to start your label, must mean you don't trust your label too much. You know what I mean? He was like, I'll go over here with Jermaine. I've had enough.
Common denominators, Diddy.
Yeah,
his practices.
Yeah. So in '99, he released the Double Up Bad Boy album, and then he retired. And 2004, he returned to music with the Welcome Back, as we just alluded to. And then in the mid 2000s, he decided that it would be a good idea to join G Unit, because whenever you think of G Unit, you think of Mace. No, you don't. But he did that little venture with G Unit, which was a joke. It was definitely a joke, to say the least. And I don't even know that he even did an album. I don't think he did anything with G Unit other than show up with them a couple of times and make some like guest appearances. But as far as music, I don't remember him making anything with them. But he joined them and rocked with them for a little bit. But then in 2009, he appeared on a radio station at V103 during a Puff Daddy and Dirty Money interview. We talked about them too. And basically he stormed in, not necessarily stormed, but he came into the interview with paperwork saying that he had paperwork that could get him out of his contract. So on air, Puff signed the paperwork and basically said that, Mace can go out there and work with whoever he wants to work with now. He's no longer a part of Bad Boy. But that wasn't true. That wasn't actually true. So he left left the station, feeling like, I'm no part, but that, 2012. So we went from 2009 to 2012 is when he finally got out of his deal with Bad Boy. And that was not a like permanent get out of the deal. What happened was Puff gave him the option of signing a 1-year release. So basically what he could do is for 1 year, you go do whatever you want to do. And then after the year, you come back to Bad Boy, but you'll be under Interscope instead, like Bad Boy, but with, working with Interscope. So at that point, I guess he decided, you know what, I don't want to have no parts of that. After the year was up, he never came back and he retired. And that was the end of Mace. Now, as far as I know, like the last time I heard Mace was on Clubhouse and he was talking about God. So he's back, back on his faith. He might not have ever left his faith for all I know, but I do know that is something that he is proud of and is pushing. And I haven't heard any music. I do know that he did something on some mixes a while back, and that was like the last thing that I heard from him was him doing something like that. So
that would be the slowest, mumbliest verses ever.
Oh my God.
We would all just be taking naps.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's really sad to see these type of individuals who came out and meant so much to music during that time, to kind of just fall, into just, nobody really like it, nobody, no relevance, Mace was a hot artist then, and for him to just disappear, come back, and then nothing, I think that speaks a lot to the way that Puff does business and the way that he handles his relationships.
Well, I think Puff is a shrewd businessman, always has been, and he's somebody who like he knows, he seems to know like when people are about to blow, and just how long he can ride that wave, and then he has no problem just being like, bye, and moving on to the next person. And I think that's what happened with all these people. And I think that, taking somebody up to the top and then just bouncing is like, that's got to have an effect on your psyche. You know what I mean? And people will go to a lot of different lengths to try and keep that fame and try to keep that power and that money. But yeah, Diddy was just like, nah, it's over for you. So I'm gonna go over here now. Like that kind of thing. That's how I see it anyway. That seems to be like the pattern.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Raymond in the comments section. Yeah, this is a good point. Yeah, I agree, Raymond. The band was definitely never made to actually do anything. It was strictly for the views, strictly to put, Puff back into the limelight.
That shit was a mess. Because it was a mess.
Yeah, it was absolutely. I mean, when you remember watching the band, the most memorable part of the band was Diddy's attitude towards everybody. It was just he was like a real live, just major asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for no reason. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He was like trying to be Chef Gordon Ramsay or something, but for hip hop. And it was like, why are you doing this? Like, this isn't.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It made
Yeah, he's like he was trying to get him all ready for the streets or whatever. Is like, but no, it's not going to be like if things get hard, it's not going to be somebody in a fur coat yelling at me. It's going to be like other shit that I got to deal with. Like this isn't preparing me for anything.
Yeah, I mean, but they'd already gone through real life before they even got to the show. So it's like, if anything, he should have been. I always just felt like if you like really practices like the principles, like I am my brother's keeper, and like really guiding these young men to be like, okay, you got them out of this situation, help them be better, help them how to be better businessmen, and like really navigate not just maybe the music industry, but how to like grow their brand. It seems like Diddy does that, but he doesn't seem to really facilitate that too much for his other artists, maybe except Biggie. But it's like, but after that.
Yeah, and I think Biggie was going to be Biggie with or without Puff.
Right.
Like that's what I honestly believe. I don't think we could say the same for any of these other artists. You know what I mean? I think I think he understood the idea of how things trend, and he saw the way music was evolving, and he was like, all right, here's how I can get in on this. You know what I mean? But he just lucked out, and he just happened to be friends with Biggie.
Yeah.
And it gave him enough street cred to basically pave the way for all of these other artists who he eventually kicked off the path. But
all these bands that Diddy starts. Oh Lord.
Because while I was doing the research, they like groups like The Band and Danity Kane and Day 25. All Day 26.
What was their name again?
I know, right? Not like that. Yeah, that just goes to show how irrelevant they were. Like, I mean, like, I didn't even know their name. They could be day 11. It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, but he did focus. It was everything that when it came to outside of Big, what we noticed was that Puff wanted to be the center of attention on everything that he did. Like, you couldn't even do after Big, you couldn't even be on Bad Boy without Puff being in your fucking video dancing. Yeah. Like it didn't matter who you were, Puff was gonna find a way to jump in your video and dance. And if he couldn't dance, he was gonna try to find a way in your video to rap.
Imagine if anytime you were saying anything, I would make a point to be like, yeah. Take that. Yeah, like that's what he was going to be there at some point.
Hey man, so it's just it's like he has this huge ego, and him being a producer isn't enough. Him being the boss isn't enough. I have to have my hands in everything, or I'm not feeling comfortable with the product. And that's kind of what we saw going forward after Big. was Puff in everybody. He was in G-Dep's video and Black Rob's video. He was in it's like everybody's video. He was in Loon's video. He's in everybody's video. Faith's video. Like you like, dude, you know, some videos you don't even got to be in, but you're in it.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's probably like, I got to get my appearance fee out of your pay real quick. Let me just take that real quick. Let me take that, and just put that in my pocket. Yeah.
Very much. I mean, remember when like Dave Chappelle like made fun of Diddy? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just all that.
Yeah, man. So like, it just, Puff. Like we just like as much as we want to love you because you're a black man and we want to support our black businesses and black ownership, bro. You just like, man. The more and more we just keep going. Let's move on, man. Like, look, this guy, MGK, signed a Bad Boy. We have now left the 90s. We are now in the present. The thing about the present version of Puff as opposed to the older version of Puff is this new version of Puff doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. No, I mean it. He doesn't do anything. He just sits back and collects checks. He doesn't produce your stuff. He's not in your videos. He doesn't market you. He doesn't do anything but collect money. This guy, MGK, came up on the mixtape circuit.
Mm-hmm.
He did all of his marketing himself. Social media, YouTube, all of those things drove MGK into a position where he could meet the higher ups. He wound up continuing to do mixtapes, dropping music, jumping on people's stuff until finally he got honored by MTV. MTV kind of honored him, and I think he was like they called him like a rookie of the year or rookie sensation or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But this marketing that he did for himself kind of got him in the position to meet Puff. Once Puff met him, Puff signed him. And by the way, MGK's real name is Colson Baker. I'm gonna be honest.
Obviously,
I'm gonna be honest. Your street cred is done as soon as I find out your name is Colson. I'm just gonna put that out.
Unless you got an agent before that, Colson, yeah.
Marvel.
I mean, because MGK, I've listened to some of his stuff, and he spits hardcore. He spits some hardcore stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. That's subject to we're gonna have to check your credentials. Your name's Colson, and I just don't know how gangster you were in the streets, Colson. But nonetheless, Puff signed him in 2011, and since 2011, Colson has been still doing mixtapes and mixtapes and mixtapes. Now, I don't understand why you signed to a major label if you're going to do all of the work. But that is where we're at now in the music industry. In the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s, you needed a label in order to sell your music, in order to be reputable and everything. You had to have a label if you thought you were going to do something on a major level. Nowadays, you don't necessarily have to have a label. Since we have social media, you can simply promote yourself and build a following, and that's what we see a lot of these up and coming rappers do. MGK is signed to Bad Boy and has been signed to Bad Boy since 2011. Yet he is still out here putting out mixtapes and marketing himself. Tyrone, me and you were talking about this before the show, that you don't even feel like he's really, a music artist anymore. He's more of an actor because he's embraced the acting side of it, and we don't see as much music coming from it.
Yeah, it seems like that's the direction he's going, and that's cool. It doesn't seem to be very. I've never been a disclaimer. I've never been an MGK fan, so I don't really have a lot of love for his music. So for me, the further away he is from music, the better. And so acting, awesome, go for it. But that's just me. Maybe even being a hater. But yeah, he's like, yep.
No, I don't think you're being hated. No, there's some issues. So I saw a Breakfast Club interview that he did a few years ago. Basically, him and Eminem had gotten to a battle, and they're label mates. And if you push in, and I think it just from there, after he just wasn't getting promoted, so his album sales weren't. That's when he really transitioned to doing a lot more of the movies.
Yeah.
And so on the Breakfast Club, he was explaining how for him it's just more like he makes so much money doing movies. That I think that's just the path he went after, like him battling Eminem, and it just didn't have the best effect. Like people recognize his skills as a lyricist, but then they just, because of like promotion and backing from the label, that caused issues. And then I think he switched to rock for a little bit too.
No, not for a little bit. He's full on.
Right, he's full on rock now. Okay, because I know
he's full on. He's full on rock. I think he did a whole rock album, as a matter of fact.
I'm okay with that.
Rock now. Okay.
And honestly,
cool. All right.
Honestly, his rock album. I mean, not the album because I haven't heard the album, but I've heard a couple of tracks, and they're not bad. I like them. I mean, I think this is more of his lane. You know, like
that makes sense.
You know, he's already tatted up. He's already in that. You know, he hangs out with Travis Barker. Like you know what I mean? Like you're already in that. You know, so. You know, I say tap into it. And I mean, he has been. I mean, it like one of the things that I just, like I said, I don't understand is why sign to a major label if you're going to do all the work.
Well, nobody ever accused him of being smart.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, crack rock. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Vince. But look, man, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time on MGK because, again, you know, why sign to a major label if you're going to do most of the work? It just really makes little to no sense. But again, it speaks to Puff. It speaks to how you run your label, the relationships you have with your artists, and what your expectations are and what you're trying to put into it. So maybe all those years of him dancing, being in everybody's video, doing all of that has caught up to Puff finally. Puff is now, you know, an older man. He's like, look, I don't have that energy, which I don't think Puff will ever lose that energy. I think he still has that energy. But
no, he just transferred it to hanging out with young girls that are in their 20s. Okay, he's living his best life dating young girls. Okay.
That is true. He is dating young girls, and sometimes
younger girls like in their 30s and 20s. Okay, so we're not, just clarify, like we're not talking like.
Yes.
Can you imagine the whack ass poems he's writing these girls like to get them like, and how many times he puts West Indies in them?
I don't think.
Can you imagine that shit?
I think Puff's game consists of take that. I think that's
take
it.
This money, take this jewelry, take this car about you.
Take that. I think that's Puff's game. You know what I mean? We had some more, a couple more things we could have talked about, but I think we've gone on long enough today about this, but we will continue this conversation. This conversation is not over. So this is a part one for everybody out there in the audience. So we will continue to talk about Bad Boy, and also other labels as well. So if you are in the comment section, and there is a particular label that you would like us to talk about, go ahead and comment in the comment section. Let us know, and we will tackle it. But as far as the day goes, I think we've pretty much summed up for the most part that Puff's just not a nice guy to work for. He may be someone who can show you success. But you just need to know that once he's shown it to you, you're probably going to have to take it upon yourself to continue whatever journey that is, with your level of success. Yeah, Vince, that versus though, we're hoping that, we had some news today. So maybe that there will be a versus coming soon with Bad Boy and another potential label. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But if that does happen, you will definitely talk about it here and tap into it. But like I said, I want to go ahead and wrap the show up and do what we normally do. Holly, I want to go ahead and give you the opportunity. Tyrone, don't look crazy. You know you're last. But we're going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to take the floor and do what you do.
All right, everyone. You can find me on So Please Understand on my YouTube channel. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the MulTYverse on YouTube and go like our Facebook page and Instagram account. So yeah, you'll see those flyers now moving around. So like and share, please.
You know what? I was gonna let you go last, Tyrone, but you know what? I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna just don't make it look too bad, all right? Just don't make it look too bad, all right? All right, Tyrone, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tyrone. I think that no, I'm just kidding. Follow, share, like MulTYversed catches Wednesdays at 6:30 every week. You can catch Tyleem and myself on the New Bird Order every Saturday at 9 a.m. Check us out there. We have a good time on that show, talking about all the nerd stuff. You can follow me at Tyrone Thornhill on all social media, and look forward to seeing you next time.
That wasn't so bad, man. That wasn't so bad.
Got it down.
See, I can follow that. That's not so bad. Look, I want to just thank everybody in the comment section for really killing it today and making us think and giving us those good questions. I also want to just thank everybody who supports the show, comes in every week, likes, comments, shares, and just does the most. Lisa, glad to see Raymond today. Vince, always good to see you here, bro. Can't wait till Saturday. But yeah, like Tyrone said, like, comment, share, MulTYversed. Follow us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. A lot of you have not subscribed to our YouTube page. You know who you are. Go over there and subscribe to our YouTube page. We are definitely going to be having a lot of stuff coming up very soon. We're going to be putting out a lot of good content. Again, if there is anything that you would like to hear us talk about, please feel free to get in the comment section, jump on YouTube, jump right here on Facebook, DM us, whatever the case may be. But let us know exactly the powers that be. Fired him quietly. I like that. But yeah, make sure you follow, like, comment, and share. That is very, very important for the growth of this channel. I appreciate everyone coming through. It is so fun to do this with my two favorite people, Holly Noon and Tyrone Thornhill, and we cannot wait to do this again. So if you want to make sure that you catch us and catch all the good content that we are dropping, make sure you're here every Wednesday, 6:30, without fail. We will be here. But that's it for me today. I like to let Bernie do what Bernie do, talk to y'all, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. But listen, be good to each other, be good to everybody. We out.
Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like you if you're being yourself, fuck them. Let me tell you something. I used to go with a girl when I was about your age. I tried to please her Peppy all the time. Went out my way to please her Peppy. I come in one day, I said, nice weather we have. Said, you can't say that. You can't say that, it might rain. I said, nice tie you got on. Said, you can't say that. My wife tried to choke me with it. Point I'm trying to tell you, son, is be yourself. People don't like how you be yourself, fuck them. Fuck them up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on them and crazy through on their lips. That's all you do.
Words to live by.
You live by them, son.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the club now, Uncle Vester, and just go.
You go and enjoy yourself, boy.
We miss you, Bernie. We love you. We out.